Yeah, it's a expression that's been around for a while, and I don't mean it to sound cute, but I find it's been very helpful, or it really talks to the levels of consulting, and it's basically the idea of the finder, minder, and grinder. So at the very top, you have the partners or the potential partners. They're the finders. They're really out, finding work, managing client relationships, figuring out how to take the work that's being done and how it could be used in other ways.
This person is basically trying to manage client relationships, and this is where we talk about the trusted advisor. This is where you are meeting people, understanding their true dilemma, the dilemma of that individual. And you got to be careful over here. Ultimately, the company which pays for the solution for what you're going to help them with is paid by a company, but the dilemma is of an individual. And it's that individual that you're working with to understand what keeps them awake at night. And it is for them that you're delivering the solution. And you're going to be very clear about that. And to get to that, you need trust. And this is why we go back to the word trusted advisor, because you cannot be trusted to help if you have not built this relationship together.
Okay, so at the top you have the finder, and then the next level down you have the minder. These are the project team leaders or the case team leaders. And in some sense they sit at the middle of everything that's going on, because they have to be responsible to the client's needs, they have to work very closely with the partner to make sure they're aligned, and they have to make sure the work gets done by the case team, meeting the milestones and the project dates and everything on time.
The minder is always being managed for his or her ability to manage the project on time, on budget, and with the lowest amount of noise in the system. Because once the work plan is set, the junior people are put into motion, the grinders, and the senior level people don't want to be involved until the right stage meetings. They don't want to be called in to save the project later on. And so this puts a lot of pressure on the project manager, the minder.
And everything on time. And then the final level, you have what I've called the grinders. These are the people that are actually getting the work done. These are the junior consulting team members. They're just out of business school, just out of undergraduate, been around the firm for 4 or 5 years maybe, and they're the ones doing the interviews, they're the ones doing the research, they're the ones synthesizing the findings, and ultimately driving the work forward. And every good case team has a large amount of very good, hardworking people at the bottom that really makes case team work.
Got it. So, and because all of us have worked at different levels in the consulting firms, many of our students who are getting the MBAs will probably have to start in a combination of being the grinder as well as the minder. But they may initial experience maybe as a grinder, where you got to do a lot of work, a lot of research, and work very hard. And if you're not able to do that, this is where they do the first level of screening, at which point you may not be invited back the second or third year. That the capacity to do work, the capacity to do rigorous work, and the ability to maybe analyze that work.
That comes through is, good consultants and people that we would want to hire, they're confident, but they're capable, so they can back up that confidence. There's a very fine line between being confident and being perceived as arrogant. And consulting firms don't want arrogance, they want confidence. They want you to be able to say what you mean and to back up what you say with, work coming through.
I think companies are looking for a couple of things. The first one is they're looking for smart people. And the thing here is smart, meaning can you analyze a problem, can you synthesize it, can you come to some conclusions around it, say some insightful things around that particular topic. So are you smart? Are you logical in structure to be able to come up with some insights? That does not differentiate you. The second part that companies look for, and consulting environments look for, are people who are willing to work hard. And what does hard mean is much of the work that we do may take 8 hours, but that that epiphany comes on the 9th hour. And so you have to put in the 8-9 hours up front to come to that particular insight. And so are you willing to sit there and dig and really, really look for answers and work hard to get to that and be focused to do that? And that requires a lot of rigor and hard work. And so looking for people who have got stamina and capacity to do the work. And to add to this, of course, there are many times reports are due the next day, and they're still working on it the night before till about 6 in the morning and getting it printed at the printers. And again, you might have to pull a late night And do you have the stamina and capacity to do that sort of work? Which is important. If you don't, then you'll get really fatigued and you'll get cranky and may not be the right work for you. You also need to have the right attitude. And that attitude is, how do you work in teams, and how do you actually react when you get more work thrown at you, or you got to do something different than what you were expecting.
So essentially how you deal with stress.
How you deal with stress. And the recipe that I've seen works well is we look for people who smile. People who smile more often than less are people who are more likely to be able to take that. They're more squash, you can squeeze them, they're more fungible, they're more shapeable. People who don't smile as much are going to react badly and perhaps even react poorly to the team dynamics as a result of the way they act. These are some of the behaviors and traits. We'll continue adding additional comments as we go forward. We'll ask Ron Jonesh to provide some inputs on this later on. But we also have the second part of this, which makes you a world-class consultant, are the tools and the techniques to do that. And this will also be videotaped and will be made available in the near future. Thank you very much.